So this is the DS7 Performance Line. It looks like a car is supposed to be going at warp speed around the Nürburgring, but in actual fact it is a 180 brake horsepower 2-litre diesel. So we're going to give this car a good review from head to toe and see can it perform, or is it just a line of performance, and see what it's like on the inside. So hit the subscribe button. Come on, let's have a look around on the inside of the DS7 Performance Line. And now DS makes some of the most beautiful looking cars and interiors of any car manufacturer out there. They look amazing, and this is nowhere short of that. All this Alcantara stuff across the dashboard here, it's down the side. These weird buttons that open the windows over here. There's even some buttons up on the roof that call for SOS. There's jewel encrusted thingamajigs. There's beautifully Alcantara seats. Tons of storage in here. There's pockets up here. There's a pocket big enough here to put a small child in. There's a pocket over here that can easily contain one of these water bottles, but that can also be put here. You could put it in there if you wanted to. It's big enough. You put it in there, it'll swallow 2 or 3 of them in that way. Massively practical machine here. But it's somewhat let me down, because while all this stuff looks brilliant, when you actually begin to touch it, it's just plastic. And this is particularly kind of nasty plastic. The stop-start button up here, took me ages to find that, by the way. This stop-start button up here feels kind of flimsy, if I'm honest with you. I thought it was a bit weird. Seating position is okay. The seats don't hug me enough at the top end, so my shoulders are allowed to roll in the seat quite a bit. My hips stay quite well firm in the seat though. The steering wheel is actually okay. The steering wheel is ever so slightly off centre in this one, which I was surprised about. So on the dead straight, it is slightly out to the left. I have a dashboard with lots of triangles on it. I have this with lots of triangles on it. The whole interior cabin's a little bit triangular. These air vents to the left, or to the right, left and right, but to the right of the driver's hand, only blow air on your fist as you're driving along. So this hand is freezing and this hand is warm, and I can't adjust it in such a way that it's just not blowing it straight onto my hand. Either that, or it's blowing it straight up the window here and into your ear hole. That's kind of pretty much it. The cabin itself looks fantastic, and in here the car feels gigantic on the road. It really does. It's very good. Now let's just start up for a second. This is my phone. Now there's a little pocket here that can only best be described as a phone thing, but I have a funny feeling you'd snap it in two if you hit it with your hand or rested it on it, so I don't want to put that there. There is actually a phone tray in here that takes that size of a phone into it easy enough. Now this does have Apple CarPlay and it does have Android Auto, and both of them are very good. Android Auto particularly is exceptionally good. It just works, right? Now that's nothing to do with Citroen, it works in it. So foot in the brake, press start button. You hear that lovely diesel tickety tickety tickety, which soon to be won't exist anymore, but it will for the next 10 odd years. It'll be fine. DS Automobiles comes up here. This system takes a while to load. As you notice, it's taken a little bit longer here than you expect it to, even if you were to flip into reverse. But anyway, here they are, the radio. So now that it's started up, you're looking at lots of reflective triangles. So the triangles are on my screen here. They're also here, these little right angles and triangles things. This one is a touch screen, but it does have physical controls under the touchscreen, which are kind of little screens themselves. They go dark when they're not on, of which you can touch and it will turn into things. Now you notice that when I touch the navigation app, it says I should open a navigation application that works. So SatNav is not on this, it is on your phone. So these take control of your phone when they're plugged in with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. But temperature controls are still on a touchscreen. And this is a no-no. I've been saying this since they started doing it, since Citroen PSA Group started putting touchscreens and heating controls into the touchscreen. No, it's just a no. They don't work. You miss them all the time. Every time you want to change the temperature you're driving on the road, you reach over and you go, I missed it. Am I touching it? Who knows? Could be doing anything. So heating controls is a no-no, absolutely. But I do like that they put in some physical bits and pieces down the bottom. You can dismiss the screen from two physical buttons over here, and this one over here on the far side is whether you want sensorial drive. DS sensorial drive. So you want cashmere or titanium, which changes everything into red, and cashmere changes everything into a sort of a hazy blue. It takes a while to load it as well. It seems to be loading the thing up from the inside. It's not for me, is the best way I can put it. These touchscreens don't really do a lot for me. The car visually in here, it's fantastic. These switches for the windows are down here. Also down here is a way to turn off the windows. You can lock all the doors. The two windows for that side are over here, two windows for that side over here. Then you have drive mode over here, which won't change on that screen. It only changes on this screen. So sport, normal, comfort and eco is your settings that you can have. It instantly defaults to normal every time. You see, this is still loading. I'm like wasting time here trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Nothing. Oh wait, now we've loaded and now we're going back to cashmere. So cashmere is over here. I have no idea whether that's what. Cashmere turns everything sort of purplish, and titanium turns everything sort of reddish. Now, a little complaint I have, which kind of annoys me about modern cars, is that stop button up there at the top. Being able to start and stop the car. Look at it. You see how many times I'm pressing the button? What was wrong with the key? Anyway, besides, okay, touch buttons are one thing, but like stopping the car. See, I've pressed the button. The car is not stopped. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm getting out. I'm walking away. The doors are open. Oh, there it goes. It's very hit and miss, and all of these kind of start buttons and stop buttons they seem to have a small delay on them, which means you're supposed to hold it down or something, or do something else. And yeah, great, okay, we'll hold it down, but let's be serious. Can we just stop that? That's not difficult to just turn off a key and take it out, right? Anyway, storage, 10 out of 10. Visually, 10 out of 10. Plastics, a little bit. Let's have a look in the back seat. Okay, back seat. Right, first of all, hello from the black hole of Calcutta. It is very dark back here, very dark. These windows are tinted and there's no light coming in from above, and there's only little tiny LEDs up here in the top corner that give any lighting factors back here. So hopefully you'll be able to see me back here. Comfort though is not lacking. It is very, very comfortable back here. You get some nets on the back of these hard plastic seats, which are good for kids' feet hitting you in the back. You get two air vents, but no way of turning them off or on. There's a tiny shelf underneath here, and then there's nothing else. There's no charge points. There's no way of charging anything. It's all a bit mishmash. This is an armrest in the center, and it does have a loader to come through as well, so you can get the long items through here if you want to. There's two very shallow cup holders on it, but nonetheless, there are cup holders there. It's a floating one, so there's nothing underneath. You could put things underneath there if you wanted to. It doesn't come all the way down. You will fit an adult into the middle of these two seats. It is broad enough for that. You'll definitely fit two kids' seats in here. I mean, the full-size child seats. They are ISOFIX on both sides of this. You can drop this seat. It's a 60 on this side, 40 on that side. It's very straightforward. It's just one little click up here at the top, and it drops down on top of you. Easy. Bring in a seatbelt with it, which retracts back out of the way when you don't want it. So very straightforward, but it is dark. So it is, when you're driving along back here, it does feel like a dark tomb of a thing. Very nice. Again, the door handles and stuff are all done in the little triangles. So design-wise, 10 out of 10. Anyway, boot. Now, Citroen have a bit of a history of, doing fairly decent boot spaces and fairly practical cars. So this is a crossback written across here. And when you open it, it's not electric or anything. When you open it, you realise just how much room there is in this car. It's very big in here. It has a single shopping bag hook on that side. It has some supports for the tonneau cover, and then it has more supports for other stuff that I can't quite work out what they're for. And you can drop the seats in back here as well, just a flick of the switch here. So after you release the seat down like this, you realise that this is not a flat floor. There is a ginormous step in this floor when this is lowered down. It's an impossible step to work around. You can't do a whole lot with it, You can't slide anything in that's flat. You're going to have to lift it up and put it around. So kind of demerit points on that one. But it does have a shopping bag hook, which isn't bad. And you do get the seat belts trapped behind the seats, when you're putting them back up. Anyway, it's a boot space. You can put stuff in it. I don't like the clamshell design. Just thought I'd say that. I don't like the blank bits when this is up. Also, the minor hazard of not being able to see, there is some lights there in the back, but I don't like that part. But the rear end of the car, looking at it for a second, is not unlike a Porsche, is it? I think, or Maserati or something. It's in between the whole lot of them anyway. Right, let's go for a drive. So things to note when you're sitting behind the wheel is it's very easy to see its siblings in the car. So the Peugeot 5008, 3008, they have the same gear stick here. What is a benefit and what I don't like in Peugeot is this small steering wheel. I prefer these kind of just a standard size steering wheel. It doesn't even feel standard. Even this one feels a teensy bit smaller than a normal steering wheel. So, worth to note here is that things like gear sticks and stuff are all the same across the PSA. Well, same as Peugeot anyway, at least. We don't know what way Opel's going to go, or Citroen in general, but this gear stick is a universal one. Sitting here, it's called Performance Line. I understand that's the same sort of principle as you would find with M Sport, or you have Audi S line, you've got BMW we've done already, Mercedes have an AMG line. The word line donates that you're not going to get the performance from the car, you're just going to get a car that looks like its performance cousin. Now currently, this DS7 is the only thing that they offer in Ireland from that group. So DS now has broken away from Citroen and has now become its own entity out there as well. Good or bad decision, I'm not sure. It can be very tough to uncouple a brand from its name. So Citroen DS7 was much easier off the tongue than DS7. Even the website is a bit of an awkward one to find. If you just search for DS, Google just throws up all sorts of things at you without really giving you the results you require. So performance wise, what if I go into this drive mode thing here and I go to sport and I floor it? A fake noise comes on, and that was this warning of the white line. Is what that was. So the only warning you get is not a push on your steering wheel or anything. You get a beep that you can't hear at speed. But what they do is in the performance line here, they weight up the steering wheel, so the steering wheel feels a bit heavier. It's off center, but it's a bit heavier. And when you floor it, you get this fake noise. But even though it's fake, it isn't loud enough. It isn't. If you made that louder, it might be more entertaining, but it's not loud enough. DS. It needs to be, if you're going to fake it, really fake it, really give us something to be writing home about and go, wow, that's a wild noise, I really like it. That'd be better as a UFO sound or something. Why am I being very critical of this car? Well, you're going to shove 50 grand in the face of a DS dealer for this car, and it better be worth it. That's a lot of money. That's not to be sniffed at. So what you're going to get is a lot of comfort, a lot. It is a really comfy car, particularly in normal mode, not in comfort mode, weirdly. Normal mode calms the entire thing down. It just makes it a car to use every day. Comfort deadens the throttle response and the steering wheel becomes like a dinner plate. And then eco, well, that's just like going backwards. You put your foot down and absolutely nothing at all happens. The car changes gears, but you can't find any of them. Speaking of which, gearbox. This has an 8-speed gearbox. I cannot really feel gear shifts, but it does. I can under certain circumstances, and sometimes, and this is particularly at low speed in comfort mode at a roundabout, the car doesn't know what to do with the gears. It just, I'll give you an example. There's a roundabout up ahead, so I'll put it into normal mode for you. And as we're pootling along here, it's in 7th. It just flipped into 8th there a second ago. It's very quiet in here. It's quite nice. I'm on a very rough surface. This is one of my test roads for around Portlaoise. I use it very regularly, and the difference in volume becomes apparent very quick when you drive over the same road all the time. But now it's not shifting gears right now. It's climbing this hill here in 8th. But as I approach this roundabout, when I slow down first, it's gone to 6th. I didn't feel that gear shift. 5th, didn't feel it. 4th, didn't feel it. 3rd, didn't feel it. Now I feel it. Now its power's back on now, and it seems to be getting confused as to what gear it's going to offer me through that roundabout. This is a series, so there's another roundabout here in front of me. I'm going to have to come to a complete halt. And another factor is the engine's cut out before I stopped. Cut out quite some time back. There it is, started again as soon as I lift off. So I put the foot down. The gear now doesn't know first, second, third, fourth, third. It's just, it gets confused at low speed. It's the best gearbox Citroen has ever made. The best gearbox they've ever put into their cars in the automatic sense. Anything would be better than that old robotized gearbox, but it's still not quite up there with what some of the German brands offer. So things I really like about the car, really appreciate, is the comfort. The seats are absolutely outstanding. The suspension is a little bit wallowy here and there. You can catch it out on the wrong kind of speed bump or the wrong kind of corner. I wish the word performance wasn't used. I wish they'd come up with some other sort of grade name, because I instantly go, wow, look at all the Alcantara. Let's chuck it into this car, and the whole car just sits down on one side and doesn't want to do performance. 180 horsepower is plenty. These you can get this in a non-performance version, and I think there's a 1.5 litre diesel. But realistically, this is probably, if you're looking at DS, this is probably where you're going to be pushed on to, this performance line version of it. It's very nice. Visually, it is incredibly exciting. It is far better looking than pretty much anything in this segment. The only thing I would compare it to is the look of the Seat Cupra Ateca, or now the Cupra Ateca. See, uncoupling your brand from a brand is a difficult one, but the Cupra Ateca is probably visually ever so slightly better looking than this, but this is way bigger, so this is a bigger car entirely. But visually, exciting wise, those two are at the top of my list. For just usability every day, this is very good. It's a diesel. You're never going to find the end of that engine. It's very economical. You get really good MPG. I'm getting like 5 litres per 100 kilometres when you don't put on the fakey-makey sounds. I would prefer if they put both feet into the ring and really went toe-to-toe with some of the performance guys. Give me a performance one. Put a real one on the market. Don't be afraid. Put on some glad rags and get yourself out there and have a little confidence. And if you're going to make a fakey, noisy one, well, really make go for it. Make it sound like a V8 when I'm roaring along the road. It's fun. Noises are fun, That makes the car part of it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've learned all you need to know about the DS7 in this one, the performance line at least. Hopefully you've hit the subscribe button, and below this video there's also a list of ways of supporting this channel, but the main way is to subscribe. If you can, check out the links down below for ways to actually monetarily support this channel. It'd be really good, as it's totally unfinanced. You can join me every Sunday for the Sunday service, which happens at 2 p.m. Here Irish time, 2 p.m. You can join me there, and we chat for at least 2 hours, absolutely straight, live, no ad breaks, no nothing. It's an entertaining show. We will be having a live meetup very, very soon. If this is out in time, the Ideal Home Show in the RDS this year is hosting a special electric car event, and they've asked me to talk at it. So I'm going to be giving a talk at about 1:20 every day during the Ideal Home Show run. So that's 4 talks over that time. I don't script, so the 4 talks will all be different. So if you want to come along the 4 days to the 4 different talks, you can. It'll be a bit of fun, a bit of entertainment, but also really honest to God, factual stuff. They want the truth. They want to know what the best is. So if you can get tickets to that, I'll try and put a link down below to a discounted ticket that you can get from my side as well. I don't know the discount offer right now off the top of my head, but I'll get you the best discount I possibly can. I don't make any money out of that ticket sale. That's just a discount for viewers of this channel. So hopefully you can watch that one. And I'll meet you at the Ideal Home Show this autumn. But until the next time, I will see you on the far side.